Welcome, welcome, welcome to my next series of travel tips. Let's make sure we're live everywhere. Now we're going live on YouTube. We're going live on Instagram. Where are we with Facebook? Thanks so much for joining me. Here we are. Okay. So, hola, bonjour, ciao. Welcome to my tips on travel destinations. So, this is the third of my videos that I'm going to be doing the rest of the month every single day to help inspire you about travel, particularly international travel. I'm a world traveler and I love to share my experience traveling around the world and help people do the same with confidence and skills. So, today is the third in my series. You'll be able to see the other ones above or below on this page at a later date. So you could also learn more about travel and my online course on my website at christineelder.com/travel. So welcome to my tips on travel. Today we're talking about destinations. So how to choose a destination and what are some of the considerations you want to think about while you are planning a trip, an international trip. And so there are over 100, well, no, there's about 195 countries in the world. That includes two sort of non-countries, which includes where the Vatican is in Rome and the West Bank. And I've actually been to both of those places. So there's a lot of places to choose around the world to go. So how do you choose? So we're going to talk about that in today's quick tip video. So now you may already have a place predetermined. You might already have a bucket list place, and it might be a certain destination and at a certain date because of maybe a festival or event you want to go to. So maybe you want to celebrate Carnival in Rio de Janeiro, or in the spring, you want to go see the tulips in the Netherlands, or in the summer, in France, the Cannes Film Festival, or the Glastonbury Music Festival in the UK. Even this summer, you might be wanting to go to the Olympics in Paris, or Oktoberfest in Germany. Or if you're like me, I love Dia de los Muertos, or Day of the Dead. And you might want to do that in Oaxaca, Mexico. That's a great place. Or you might be interested in going to Christmas festivals in Europe. So you might already have kind of a date and a location chosen. But even if you do, keep listening up. I got lots of other ideas for you and things to consider, even if you do have your date and location planned. So the first one is you really want to think about the popularity of the destination. Some places fill up really fast, like nowadays Machu Picchu in Peru and the Galapagos Islands, both of which I've been really lucky to go to. Now, some of those places can fill up 2 years in advance. I was lucky to visit the Galapagos during the pandemic, where I actually got about 60% off. So I was lucky to go there. But now I think if you try to take a tour, you might be backed up for months or years. So you really want to think about the popularity of the place you want to visit. And then, of course, your budget. You might be a high-end traveler or a low-end budget traveler. And there are also, certain countries that are just intrinsically more expensive, like those in Western Europe. Compared to ones in Central or South America or Southeast Asia. And you also want to think about your travel experience. So, if you're a more experienced traveler, you're going to be able to go to sort of more off the beaten path, exotic places. But if you're not experienced, you might want to go places that have more of a tourism infrastructure and are used to tourists and will make it a lot easier for you to go. Um, Another one is your style. What kind of style of traveler are you? Like I said, you might be adventurous or a newbie, but also you might be preferring group travel. That makes it a lot easier, although it's more expensive. So you're going to be limited to when tours are offered, what seasons, what countries, compared to if you're an independent traveler, like I generally am. Now, in the past, I led tours, and I'm also leading some nature sketching tours in the future. So I know about that, both traveling independently and with tours. And there's lots of pros and cons with both of those. Another one you want to consider is if you have a companion that wants to come along. Now, if you have a friend or relative or partner that you're going to travel with, you really should have a really detailed talk with them about, budgets and all the things we're covering today. Their style of travel, are they going to want to just sleep in every day, or are they going to want to get up at dawn and go bird watching like I do? They might want to just sit on a beach all day, or might do cultural events, and you would rather go sip a margarita at a bar. So you really want to have a really detailed conversation with your companion about how compatible you will be traveling. You really get to know somebody when you're traveling with them. Now, let's see. A couple other considerations are season and climate. So, seasons, of course, can really vary. A lot of people in North America like to travel in the winter down to tropical destinations. Like I love to go to follow the birds south as they migrate. Down to Central America. It's really fun to see our local birds, like the warbler species, down in Honduras or Costa Rica. It's like they're old friends. So you might want to escape the season that you're in and go to another season. And climate, some people really love a hot and steamy climate, and some people want to be cool. So even if like you're going to the tropics, it might be hot and steamy down at sea level, like in Panama, where I'm going to soon. But you could do a drive just an hour or two away, and you'd be up in the cold cloud forests. So don't discount a certain country because you think it has a certain season or climate. That will really vary depending on the elevation and the month you're traveling. Um, so another consideration is how far your destination is away, and basically how many days you have to travel. So, if you only have a long weekend or a week and you live in North America, you might want to just go to the Caribbean or Belize or Mexico or Canada. You're not going to have time to go all the way to, Africa or Japan. That would really take more of a couple weeks opening in your schedule. So think about that. You don't want to spend a lot of money on flights only to get someplace and only have a couple days before you get back, because, of course, flights are one of the biggest expenses. Let's see what else. Oh, languages spoken. Now, tomorrow, in my next video, I'll be talking about languages, but you want to consider that. So, English is the most widely spoken language, and so followed by some other ones like French and Spanish and Chinese. And so you kind of want to think about the language. Now, like I said before, some destinations have more of a tourism infrastructure and more people at your destinations that are going to be used to travelers that speak your language. I'm assuming you speak English like I do. Well, but otherwise, I wouldn't discount places that have sort of some kind of an exotic language, because it doesn't take too much time to get conversational in a language like Spanish, is what I'm working on right now. Another thing is safety. Now, every country varies in safety depending on their government and what's going on in the world at the moment. And in the United States, we have the U.S. Department of State, where they have a website that lists how safe different countries are. But I would take that with a grain of salt, maybe. I've been to a lot of places, like in Honduras. They call the city where the main airport is San Pedro Sula one of the most dangerous places in the world. But, that's only if you're downtown, in the middle of the night, walking around when you shouldn't be, acting like a tourist. So a lot of these destinations that are supposedly not very safe are actually a lot safer than they assume. So the U.S. State Department is going to be quite conservative, of course, in those recommendations. Um, you also want to think about your health and level of activity. So, if you're planning to go, scuba diving or bicycling in Europe, or scuba diving in Southeast Asia, or doing a grand route hike in Europe, you're going to want to prepare for that. And so you're going to have probably at least 3 months to get in shape if you're not in really good shape to do the activity you want to do. So that's something you consider as well. And then also, your destination relates a lot, your choice of destination to, attitudes towards people of different faiths, different genders, that kind of thing. And so, no matter where you choose to go, make sure you leave some room for serendipity in your schedule. You don't want to overschedule yourself. You really want to get someplace and settle in and have room for, things that you haven't really planned. Like, one of my favorite memories of travel was in the small island of where was he? Corsica, which is an island that belongs to France, where Napoleon was born. And we just happened upon this lavender farm, and they invited us in, and we got to go up into the barn where they were crushing all the lavender to exude the oil to make the perfume. And so we got to stomp around like we were stomping grapes, but it was lavender. And the scent was amazing. And these people only spoke French, and I only have a rudimentary memory of French from high school. But it was the most wonderful experience in the world. So make sure that no matter where you go, you leave room for serendipity. Okay, so let me give you a few more ideas. First, I went over some of the considerations you want to think about when you're traveling, like, season, your style, festivals, that kind of thing. And now I want to give you a few more inspiring ideas. So I did mention hiking. If you're watching me, you probably know I'm into nature and the outdoors. So you probably are too. So one bucket list destination might be hiking one of the grand routes of Europe. So, like in Portugal, or the Dolomites, or Switzerland, or the West Highland Way in Scotland. You might be interested in food. So you might want to sign up for some cooking classes, learn how to make really authentic raviolis in Italy, or mole in Mexico. I was able to take a class in Mexico making mole, and it was so fun. You might want to explore your ancestry. So going back to the old world, like in North America, a lot of us came from immigrant families, maybe 100 years ago, and we came from the old world. So for me, I am Irish and Swedish. So I would love to visit those two countries and follow along with the ideas I've gotten from the ancestry.com website, and follow some of those trails, and kind of see some tombstones and see some of the cities that my ancestors lived in. Now, again, natural phenomenon. So again, if you're watching me, you probably are into nature. So you might want to be, swimming with whale sharks, or going to visit the birthing gray whales in Baja. Maybe you want to see calving glaciers in Alaska, or the Northern Lights in Alaska or Northern Europe. Speaking of Mexico, you might be interested in going to the monarch butterfly biosphere reserve to see them overwintering. Maybe one of my bucket lists is going to South Africa and seeing all of the endemic wildflowers that bloom there in the spring and live nowhere else in the world. Now, you may want to do cultural things, maybe a language immersion course. I'll be talking about that in my next video. Now, you might want to explore World Heritage sites. And you may not know that those are not only cultural sites, but also natural phenomenon, like the Great Barrier Reef. You might want to go, like I said, to cultural areas, historic archaeological sites like Machu Picchu or Tikal or Copan in Central America, if you're interested in ancient history. Now, you might be interested in sports. So that's really going to determine where you go. So you might want to go scuba diving at one of the best places in the world, which includes the Great Barrier Reef, of course, Raja Ampat, which is off of New Guinea, which has something like 400 species of corals. Or snorkeling in Sipadan Island, which is one of the most famous places in the world, which I've been really lucky to go to. And we saw dozens of turtles and just giant schools of fish that you wouldn't find anywhere else that aren't in protected waters. So, in terms of more resources for helping you research destinations, of course, the World Wide Web is at your fingertips. You can go to places like TripAdvisor, which has a section on destinations. You can go to the list of World Heritage sites online to see all of those. Of course, you can look at guidebooks. So I've got a couple guidebooks to places that give you ideas, and TV shows. So I remember back in the day, I really loved the series by Anthony Bourdain. He had the No Reservations series and the Parts Unknown series, and those really inspired me. I literally went to several places exactly because I saw his episodes on those locations, and I was inspired to go, especially to Sicily and Sardinia. Where else have I gone because of him? Jamaica, Borneo. So those are, kind of bucket list places that you can learn about on TV, right? So let me see, where am I now? Let me see if I've got any. Just a moment. Yeah, that's right. Good. Okay. So if you are liking these tips that I've been sharing with you in destinations, passports, budgeting, then you might love my online course. And there might be a link to it above or below in the chat box, but I'd really be honored if you check it out. It's called Travel Like a Pro, and it can help anybody, but mainly I'm focused on new travelers that maybe have some hesitation, especially maybe seasoned women travelers like myself that are wanting to travel solo and independently, but just don't have the skills and confidence yet. It's a course I'm really proud of, that I've worked really hard on, and it shares all of my best tips, like the tips I've been sharing with you guys. There's tips on trip planning, on health, on safety, on luggage, on wardrobe, on technology. And there are also a lot of downloadable guides I include, like my epic guide to prepping and packing for adventure, and my handout on a capsule wardrobe, because especially I like to travel really light. And so I have a quite detailed unit on packing carry-on trips. And what else? The course also includes information on nature sketching and journaling, because you probably know I'm into that. So the course includes this quick start guide to travel journaling to give you some ideas to document your trip. And also a big list of art supplies that I like to take with me when I'm traveling. And budgeting. I've got this template that you can edit that helps you to really make a realistic budget. The course called Travel Like a Pro is self-paced, it's online. I've got a discount link to 30% off that should be down below. It also includes interviews with intrepid women travelers. So you get not only my viewpoint, but other viewpoints of other women and their trials and tribulations and successes and failures in their travels so that you can learn from them. The course also includes a private Zoom call. So once you get in the course and go through it, you can make an appointment with me to, I can help you answer any other questions. Now, I'm not an official travel agent, but I have traveled to about 15 countries, all the way from most of the United States and Alaska and Canada, most of Central America and Northern South America. I've been throughout Europe, from Turkey to France and England and Italy. So really have a broad experience. So your course, Travel Like a Pro, includes this private Zoom call with me where I can help you work through some more of the skills and confidence you'll need to travel on your own. And so, yeah, what else? Yes. So, yeah, like I said, I'm really passionate about helping travelers become more seasoned and to get out there on their own. You know, there's probably a lot of excuses you haven't traveled so far. Maybe you've been raising a family or you've been caring for an older parent or grandparent. Maybe you've had issues with budgeting or job restrictions. But a lot of the time, I find it's mainly just confidence that can affect, because, you know, it's pretty easy to save for a trip. If you cut out some of those Starbucks coffees, you can probably find a way to do a little trip, even just to a neighboring country for a weekend. So, yeah, so I'm passionate about helping people gain the skills and confidence to travel. And so I'd be really honored if you checked out my course. Like I said, I think there is a link down below, and it is on sale at 30% off through the end of the month. Because again, I'm going to be going live every single day with different topics related to travel to help you and give you a little bit of a taste of what's inside my course. So, thanks so much for joining me today. I hope I gave you some ideas for destinations and inspired you about where you can travel in the future. So, thanks for joining me again. And of course, adios, au revoir, and arrivederci. Bye bye.